Hi, folks. Hope you guys are keeping well. Mr. Kelly here with his weekly update. I had some technical difficulties this morning. We're back on track now. I also got to upgrade my Screencastify software, so I'm not limited to a 5-minute video, but I'm going to try to keep it pretty condensed. This week, first off, last week we had World War II. We're going to continue on with World War II with the second half of it, and I'll explain a little bit more in a minute. But I want to say thank you very much for all your hard work in all of these units so far. Your responses are great. I've given each of you individual feedback, but I really enjoy reading all the stuff that you guys have been posting, and a lot of you are really responding very well to this new online learning that we're venturing into together. So this week we're going to finish up World War II. I've literally been pouring through countless hours of videos. I could do a whole course just on World War II. And of course, I'm only condensed to a couple of hours. So I try to pick the most concise videos. And so I've been learning lots about it myself, just trying to find the best videos to show you guys. So here we go. I have 5 sections. I'll get into them as we go. I got about 57 minutes of video, so that gives you another hour just to craft any checkpoint responses, which you guys have been doing fantastic jobs on. You don't need to be too intricate. Even just a couple of things per checkpoint would be awesome. The first unit, Pearl Harbor, is attacked. Pearl Harbor was a naval base in Hawaii. At this point, the United States had not been in the war yet, but Japanese pilots attacked Pearl Harbor, and it was called the Day of Infamy, and that's when the United States had actually entered the Second World War. So I just have a few videos here. Pearl Harbor is an actual movie. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon are in it. It's a really good movie. I recommend you watch it on your own. You can actually watch it. It's on YouTube for free, so check that out. And so your first checkpoint. Some people think the American government actually knew that there was an attack coming, but wanted a reason to go to war because war is good for your country's economy. So how did the anti-war sentiment of most Americans change after the attack? Then we move into D-Day, which is also known Operation Overlord. So when the United States entered, they worked with the other Allied countries. And on June 6, 1944, Allied forces landed on the beaches of Normandy, France, and hundreds of thousands of troops arrived. And that kind of marked the beginning of the end of the Second World War. So I have a couple of quick videos here. This one here is Saving Private Ryan. This is a 20-minute video. This is the opening scene of the movie Saving Private Ryan. This is not required viewing. I'm also advising viewer discretion. There's a lot of blood and guts and gore and suffering. World War II veterans have often said that the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, which is the arrival on the beaches of Normandy and D-Day, was the most accurate representation of what it was actually like. I highly recommend watching the movie Saving Private Ryan. It's a long one. It's over 2 hours long, but it's a fantastic movie. But the first 20-minute scene is all about D-Day. This is a really cool video I found. World War II veterans. They found one German veteran and one American veteran who were both there on D-Day, and they talk about what it was really like. And then we have just a quick little heritage minute. As you watch that, just even a couple of things that stuck out to you while learning a little bit more about D-Day. Honestly, there are hours and hours of documentaries on D-Day. So this is me trying to condense it down to give you a bit of a snapshot as to what it was. Then we just have heritage minutes, some different heroic Canadians. So there's a few here. Is there any that really stuck out to you? That's your checkpoint for this one. Then the Holocaust. The Holocaust is something that I know a lot of you were wanting to include, and I feel it's very important we talk about the Holocaust. This is a very emotionally heavy section. I believe it's very important for us to all know what the Holocaust is. Feel free to skip it over, though, because there's some very dark and disturbing facts and statements and images. But I do think that this is a very important piece of world history to learn. So we have a very somber John Green in his crash course on the Holocaust. he does a very good justice to in 13 minutes on kind of what the main idea of it was. And he's not joking around in this one. He's pretty serious, but he does a good job. This is the story of the SS St. Louis, which is kind of a black eye in Canadian history. It was a boat of Jewish refugees that were seeking asylum in Canada during World War II, and unfortunately we turned them away from our border. Band of Brothers scene. So this is viewer discretion, definitely advised for this. Band of Brothers is a series on World War II. And it's like a historical fiction, but it's very well done. I've watched the whole thing beginning to end many years ago. I remember watching this scene when I was about 18. It's when the Allied soldiers discover an abandoned concentration camp. It's pretty graphic. It's a 4-minute clip, very graphic. By all means, skip over it. But any of you who are wanting to kind of get the full deal here, this video really hits home. So what's really important about the Holocaust is in our checkpoint. So lately, even in the last few years, there's been a spike in anti-Semitic and racist attitudes, particularly in the United States, but Canada as well. So I just want you to kind of reflect on why the Holocaust is important for us to remember when we see these like white supremacists. Those attitudes are still popping back up in 2020 society. And then the final section, the atomic bomb and the end of World War II. So at this point, Germany had already surrendered. It had been rumored that Hitler had committed suicide in his bunker. The United States, they dropped 2 atomic bombs. The first one was in Hiroshima, and they hoped Japan would surrender after that destruction. Japan did not surrender. So a few days later, the United States dropped a second atomic bomb on the town of Nagasaki. And then here's actual footage of the day that Japan surrendered that ended World War II. And that's the unit this week. So if you could give me any final thoughts on how it went, anything that stuck out to you, and any suggestions or feedback for myself is greatly appreciated. So once again, I appreciate all the hard work that you guys have been doing. Keep it up. It's great to see. And I'm only an email away. I'm going to check in later on in the week. So if anything comes up, shoot me an email and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. So until next time, stay safe. Get outside, go for a bike ride. Maybe not tomorrow. It's supposed to snow, but shovel the driveway. Help your parents out any way you can. And hopefully I'll see you guys on May 11th. Take care.